go.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. I got audio now. Fantastic.
That's good. Yeah, audio is always good to have.
OBS wasn't showing my audio. I was like, oh no, I don't have audio. Shit.
Yeah, that can be unfortunate.
Yeah, especially when we didn't do a show last week. Well, we did a show, but it wasn't our show.
Well, yeah.
It wasn't our show. It was a very different show, which I'll have a link to in the description of this episode that you can go watch, where me and CD don't hijack someone else's show, but we add our own flavor of spice to the episode of their show, and we might be back in 99. They might have us back 99 episodes. I think Pete might have me back on the show.
Yeah, something like 99, 199,
Yeah,
something like that.
something like that. We talked a lot about Sony. So that was an interesting conversation to have. We don't get to have those kind of conversations all too often. Recording. All right. Fair enough. I fixed it. It's fine. It's fixed. Nice. The problem is fixed. It's fine. So yeah, that was a thing. That was our lack of show last week. I would say I've had a lot going on this week for myself, but that would be a lie. I've accomplished the minimum, the bare minimum of accomplishment that I could possibly do in a week to make sure I don't miss a day on my channel. That is what I've accomplished this week. The bare minimum. Like the very bare lowest tier amount of effort and work I could ever accomplish in a week. That is what I accomplished. Not a great week. Did you probably saw on my Twitter about how GameStop is now like 1 for 4 on me getting my pre-orders?
No, I actually missed that.
So Trails from Zero came out, and I pre-ordered a physical copy of the Switch and the PS4 version, and they didn't have it. Their copies never came in.
Yeah, so that was the state last week, and it's still that same. Okay.
I still haven't gotten that one. And then last week on Tuesday, Shredder's Revenge came out physically. They didn't have that one either. They still hadn't gotten that one. So now I have 3 games tied up with them that they don't have. And the manager there is like, I don't have them. I'm like, what you mean you don't have them? He goes, cool. I don't have them. I'm like, but I want them. He goes, yeah, I know. I don't have them. He goes, look, I'll just give you a discount on them to make up for this, but I don't have them. I'm like, when are you getting them? He goes, I have no idea.
I thought so.
I've only gotten in the last few weeks, I've only picked up one game from them that I pre-ordered that they've actually had.
Oh. Yes.
This is it. This is the only game I've pre-ordered from them that I walked into the store and they had when it came out. This is it. This is all I've gotten from them. Everything else I don't have. I don't have my I don't have my 2 versions of Trails from Zero. I don't have my physical copy of Shredder's Revenge. They don't have that either. They told me they would call me and leave me a message when my games finally did come in. They still haven't, so that's
watch out for that at episode 50.
Yeah, so this might be that case of 6 months from now they call me and tell me they have my games. I'm gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about? What games? It's gonna be that heritage auction situation where it takes them like a year to get me my game.
Sounds like fun.
They tried to talk me out of it too. They really did. They tried. They were like, we'll give you back your money. And I'm like, I don't want my money. And they're like, what? I'm like, this isn't about the money. This is about you giving me what I paid for. Like, we don't know when we'll get it. That's fine. I'll wait. I'm patient. I'll wait. But one way or another, you are giving me what I paid for. That's how this works.
Sooner or later.
We live in a capitalistic society, sir. I gave you money, therefore you give me what I asked for. So you were going to give me my video games. Oh, they're not happy about that one though. They thought that was being a little bit
I mean, that means more effort for them, so yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
I don't care. I don't care. You work
sure.
there. That's on you, not on me.
Yep.
I didn't choose to work.
Yep.
I don't choose to work there anymore. So sorry. I'm not gonna hand wave off your company's bad business, your company's bad choices.
Mm-hmm.
So that has been what's happened so far. I still don't have my games. I'm waiting for my games, and they're going to give me my
Cool.
games. Other than that, I wish I had more to tell you. I think I showed you on Discord that I was playing Final Fantasy V
Mm-hmm.
via
Yes.
my analog Super NT. That
Mm-hmm.
I want a repro card of that, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
but the analog Super NT also plays ROM, so I've been using it as a ROM because
That's good use for them.
yeah, they let you play
So you
ROM.
have just an SD card that you slot in, and then you have the
Yep,
stuff on there.
yeah.
Mm, nice.
So it plays the ROM perfect, honestly. Fucking
That's good.
yeah. So I've been playing that, and then I booted up my copy of Chrono Trigger for the playthrough I'm
Mm-hmm.
working on. So that's
Mm.
also been a thing I've been
Nice.
working on. Some high res, crispy pixel SNES action. You know, I'm all about my
Yeah.
pixels. All about my pixels.
Mm-hmm. Certainly.
And that's about it. That's about it. I got nothing else
Hmm.
for you. You got
All right. Oh, speaking of high-res pixels,
yeah.
well, not so much high-res, but I've since last week when we had the other show, I was talking about the Sam and Max adventure that I played through, and well, I decided to continue with adventures and the like, just older games.
Yeah.
So I set up in Launchbox some of the older DOS games that I have, especially a few older adver games. Like those are advertisement games
Hmm.
that I have from back then. Because at the time, that was still a bit more widespread in comparison to today, I think. There are still some games like that where some companies make a game, spread it for free, or even paid for back then. Like some commercially available ones were, well, obviously the one with the Noid or
Yeah.
the
I'm thinking Pepsi Man.
yeah, Pepsi Man, for example, or that Kool-Aid Man, or other stuff. The one with the I don't remember the name. It was with the ant that had to pushover. Yeah, pushover, where you had the ant that had to push over though differently colored stones that were, I think, yellow and red,
Yeah.
which was, from what I gathered, also an advertisement game for some product. I don't know what exactly for. At back in the day when I read about it in magazines, I didn't get that it was a advertisement game, but relatively recently I read something about it, and yeah, apparently that was also an advertisement game. And what I specifically played was one for a bank over here that was around in the 90s. It's a point and click adventure that's called Captain Sins. It's essentially you get the main character gets digitized by a weird professor into a computer system, and there he essentially becomes a hero program that's has to rescue some financial business related things, because there's some evil entity called Mr. Money that's trying to well, not quite take over the world, but take over all of Earth's money. And yeah, you have to do some stuff to fix that. And it's all a bit sprinkled in with advertisements of different products from the bank, but it's decently done. Relatively short, but yeah, it was decent.
Nice.
Obviously, no English version of it available, just German, but yeah. And that was one thing that I played. I set up a few other adventures that I'm gonna play in the future as well, but the other one that I played was an action adventure, an older game called Veil of Darkness, which is an interesting one. It was back in the day. There was the company made a few similar games like that, where you have it's an isometric view, and you have essentially a character that you either control with the keyboard or with mouse and keyboard. And in this one, it's essentially you crash land in a valley that's somewhere isolated. And it turns out, yeah, you can't leave the valley unless you fix a curse that's on the valley. Because there's also a vampire there that's terrorizing the people.
As there usually is. All right, fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and apparently there's a prophecy that tells of a man that crashes down with a metal bird. And yeah, seems like the main character is the one.
Seems like this is a job for somebody else. That's what this that's what this seems like.
That was actually the instinct of the main character as well. Like, I'm out of here. But, well, turns out that's not that easy to do. Because, for one, the whole valley is surrounded by mountains. And when he goes to the crash site of his plane, the plane is gone. Entirely. They apparently, they moved it away. Just like that.
As you do.
Oops. Yeah, and I mean, given that there aren't really any heavy machinery around there, I think there's some other stuff at play there.
Damn.
So yeah, that's I did play that one back in the day, around '96 when I got it as a full version from a magazine back then, and it was still fun back then, and it's still fun now so far.
That's good. Nice to see when old games that you found fun when you were younger, you still find fun now. Because there's plenty of them that I found fun when I was younger, and then I go back and play them now, and I'm like, fuck that. That was not fun.
Like, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
Why did I play this? Why did I find this fun?
Every Sega Sonic game except for Sonic 3, I don't find. Sonic 3 was like the only Sonic game I owned as a kid. And I was like, I got really good at beating that game. Like, really good at it. So when I went back when I was older and played like Sonic 1 and 2, I'm like, I don't see what the I don't get it. I don't understand why people hold these games in such high esteem. But then I went back and played Sonic 3 and I'm like, man, this game is still fucking good. I'm like, oh man, Sonic 3, this game is fucking awesome. God.
So. Yeah, I guess. I mean, the first one was obviously much more, I guess,
experimental.
It was their first try at the whole thing, so it's bound to improve from game to game if the team is good at it.
Yeah, so that was the thing.
Yeah, and in terms of the pixel thing, I've also because these games run through RetroArch, and they have the possibility to apply CRT shaders.
Yeah, RetroArch is pretty awesome.
Which is, quite nice.
Yeah.
I've noticed with these, especially CRT Easy Mode works best.
Nice.
Yeah. With higher resolutions, apparently CRT Royale is supposed to work better, but with these games, that one doesn't make it look as good, and in certain screens it gives it a bit of a wobble, which doesn't quite.
That's
yeah, no. But yeah, with CRT's emote, it looks quite nice.
Yeah, I mentioned like the CRT as a medium of playing games back in the day. It hid a lot of the imperfections these games had, especially once you take away when you take it away from those older games, since CRTs are no longer used. Yeah, some of these games don't look all that great anymore. That CRT technology really did cover up a lot of the oddities.
I don't think it's really as much covering it up by they used the CRT technology to improve on their low resolution images, because just the whole dithering effects and all, they did use that to make the games look better with a CRT.
Yeah, that was the big one, dithering. Because Final Fantasy IX in particular used dithering like a motherfucker. That was actually a big problem I had, because I couldn't figure out which version of 9 I wanted to do when I originally played it for my channel. Because I was like, do I want to play the older version through RetroArch? And then I would see it, and I'm like, And then I'm like, do I want to play the newer version? But then I realized they updated the newer version to make the menus not look so ugly. Because I don't know if you saw the remastered versions of the menus, the battle menus for 9, initially were not that appealing. They looked more like touchscreen menus.
I was about to say they probably looked very close to what would be on a mobile device. Like you just have those elements just ported one-to-one from Android or iOS.
Yeah, they did fix them, so they were way more tolerable.
Good. That's good.
But yeah, the dithering kind of drove me nuts. 'Cause, God, this does not look right. And I'm like, oh, I know why it doesn't look right. And like, if you remove the dithering, it causes all kinds of weird artifacts and other things. Because emulators will let you remove it. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's tempting to try it. Don't do that.
Yeah. Using stuff like the CRT shaders with RetroArch, and even adding stuff like the Mega Bezel, which that makes it look quite nice.
Okay.
That adds bezels, and in parts those bezels even have additional effects, like essentially you see the image of the game in the bezel, like mirrored and all, as you would in a real bezel.
Yeah.
This can look really nice.
Good shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's good to feel good before we actually start the show. You know that, right? It's good to feel good.
All downhill from here.
Yeah, it's good to feel good before you start the show, doesn't it? It feels good. You feel all nice and warm and fuzzy and shit. Yeah, because you know some real shit's about to pop off in a little bit. Yeah. Everybody, as you may or may not know, I have a history on this show of enjoying Twitch culture. I do not participate in Twitch culture.
Enjoying.
Yeah, I don't participate in Twitch culture. I am removed from the culture, but I treat it kind of like you treat a National Geographic documentary. You know, I'm sitting on the outside on my lawn chair with a pair of binoculars, looking from a distance at the vast wasteland that is Twitch, and I'm just taking in the...
You're the personification of the Joker eating popcorn gif.
Yeah, I'm taking it all in. Well, this was back... When did this? This was October 9th when this was originally dropped during TwitchCon, which was kind of a trash fire nightmare on its own merit. Everything from super long lines to the convention hall in the convention itself being basically inaccessible to people with special needs to be able to get in. All those things that you would just expect, all the things you would expect that they would be mindful of given Twitch. I feel like Twitch themselves would maybe have taken some consideration to this. But
Given that they pride themselves on being a progressive platform.
Yeah, but they didn't. No, they didn't.
Hmm.
So I need to preface what I'm about to talk about by saying that I was not following TwitchCon. I was minding my own fucking business at home, not giving a shit about TwitchCon. And then a video dropped on Twitter. And holy shit. So they had a foam pit.
Before we talk about that specific one, just to preface it, does DashCon ring a bell?
Ooh. Not nice, sir. Not nice.
I know.
God damn it.
Absolutely intended.
Oh, fantastic. So a video dropped on Twitter. Oh dear, this video.
Yeah.
So TwitchCon had a foam pit that you could jump into.
Yeah, which apparently was done by Lenovo, from what I've heard.
So if you've ever jumped into a ball pit in your childhood or a foam pit in your adulthood, usually the pit is about 5 to 6 feet deep, filled with foam and other assorted things, so that when you jump in, you
land on the foam, and
you land on the foam, and you're fucking fine. There's a reason why they're usually 5 to 6 feet deep, because an average person is going to weigh a decent amount, and you need enough foam in order to offset the weight so that they don't go crashing down and gravity does its job. That's kind of how...
especially if you're not a child, but a grown person.
Yeah. This foam pit...
Yeah.
This foam pit was, according to the reports, it was about a foot of foam. And the video that dropped featured a Twitch. I'm going to use her Twitter name because I don't know her. Loch Venice. As she jumped into this pit and was instantly immobilized at the impact.
Well, essentially, yeah. She couldn't move a little, but not much.
Yeah, she was TK.
There was something was definitely wrong.
She was
instantly noticeable.
She was TKO'd. Chick was TKO'd straight out. That was a technical knockout. She was TKO'd. And you can see in the video, she's fucked up. Like, that hit fucked her up. We then come to find out, aside from the fact that this foam pit was only a foot deep,
and the concrete floor below there.
Yeah, concrete, not carpet, by the way, concrete, straight up concrete, like not even like carpeted bullshit underneath, just concrete. Nope. Holy shit! She had broken her back in 2 places. And according to was it 2 different people? Was it Adriana Chechik?
Adriana Chechik, that's her. Yeah. Okay. She had a metal rod inserted into her back. Yeah.
And I would also like to point out, so this happens.
Oh yeah, and someone else dislocated her knee.
That was the Miss Loch
Vanessa or something.
Vanessa.
Yeah.
She my mistake. She dislocated her knee, which isn't much better. Which isn't great.
It's not quite as bad, but it's still bad.
There is also a follow-up tweet after these injuries where someone said the pit is still open, but there's no line at all. You have to sign a waiver to try it.
They had to sign the waiver before as well, I think.
To jump into a Well, after what happened, yeah. So. After what happened, yeah, probably.
I mean, I think even before. I think, at least I haven't read anything about that it happened afterwards, but even then, no matter if it happened before or after, that waiver is likely not worth the paper it's printed on.
According to the article that I pulled from NBC News, I'm going to read a portion of it. Despite reported injuries, the exhibit remained open Sunday morning. Staffers invited passersby to try the exhibit after they signed waivers, but attendees seemed wary. Cautious attendees flocked to the pit and took photos, but refused to participate. Yeah, I don't fucking blame them. I'm going to go... And by the way,
I mean, just the whole combination of here, try it, but here's the waiver. I mean, that alone, even if I didn't know anything about the accident, that alone would make me wary. Wait, that's a foam pit. Why would I need to sign a waiver? What?
Yeah, like if you're bungee jumping, you're signing a waiver.
Yeah,
if you parachute out of a plane, you're signing a waiver.
Yeah. You're signing a waiver, you're having some insurance, whatever, but
jumping into
a foam pit?
Yeah, for a foam pit. I feel like there's some questions you need to answer.
Here's a foam pit. Please sign this life insurance paper.
Excuse me?
Huh.
Okay. So yeah, as it stands, Twitch has been conveniently very, very silent about this entire thing. Have they?
Yeah,
they said? I don't think they've said anything. I think they've still been entirely silent.
I don't think so.
And
I'm not blaming them on that, because anything they say is
nothing goes well.
Gonna pretty much be thrown in their face. So yeah, I think silence is the best.
Yeah.
In this case, everything is gonna be behind the scenes.
And by the way, I would like you all to take to mind what CD just said. Silence is the way. That's gonna come back. That's gonna come back in another story, ladies and gentlemen. But keep that line in mind. I want y'all to hold on to that shit. Put that in your pocket. Hold on to it, because we're gonna be coming back to it in a little bit. Y'all gonna understand why. I promise. It's gonna be worth it. The payoff is gonna be fucking fantastic. I promise. The payoff will be worth it. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Oh goodness. All right, so this thing dropped and caused a crater in the computer gaming industry. I don't know if you've heard of it, CD. It's called the RTX 4090. This behemoth.
Yeah, that's one's gonna also cause craters in wallets.
All right, so I would like to talk about a couple of things. One, I'd like to point to Jay's 2 cents video about the 4090, where he compared it to the last like two or three generations of graphics cards, the 3090 and like the 20 series. It's huge, like
absolutely.
And the thing about it, and what kills me is the thing about it when you really like look at it, it's like 90%. Like obviously, it's like 90% cooler. Right?
Yeah.
Like when you actually like look at the bottom of it, you see where the card stopped. The card stops probably about halfway, right?
Probably. The card itself is always just, for one, it's this it's not very thick. And it's gonna be just a certain length. But yeah, absolutely, the cooler is always 90+% of a card like that.
So
in this case, it's even 99%.
So this card gets dropped, and I wasn't paying.
I hope not on someone.
Yeah, and if it is, I hope you have insurance, because you're gonna fucking need it. This card got dropped, and I noticed on Twitter, on Discord communities I'm a part of, that the thing about this card that apparently drew the most ire was its price, which I was a little confused by, because, like, it's a 90. Like, I feel like at that point, complaining about the price of the 90 series of cards always comes off as a little ridiculous to me, because those aren't, in theory, those aren't for
they're technically not
us.
exclusively gamer cards. They're not even enthusiast gamer cards technically, because they are often used for productivity and multimedia editing and all that kind of stuff. With
Yeah.
the amount of RAM they have and all that. Yeah, they are the most powerful, but usually not by that great a margin in comparison to the 80 cards.
So the 4090 dropped
Mm-hmm.
at $1,600.
Mm-hmm.
Now, everybody, the people, my closer friends who aren't necessarily computer enthusiasts,
Mm-hmm.
they see the market, they see these things come out.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's like, Nvidia's taking the piss. Uh, I wouldn't say taking the piss. I mean, if you look at the 3090, I think this doesn't come in that much higher than that, right? The 4090 doesn't come in that much higher than the 30 series of its same
Uh,
pedigree. I think it's like $100 more. So I wouldn't call $100 taking the piss, personally. God,
well, I'll say the difference is the current market situation. At the time in let's see, in 2020, the 3090 was around 1,499. So yeah, that doesn't, for America, that's not that much of a difference.
no, it's
The
not.
problem obviously is that all kinds of prices are skyrocketing nowadays, and people have a bit of a problem there. And this thing needs power as well.
Oh, let's talk about that. If I
Mm-hmm.
if I looked it up properly, I think the
Uh-huh.
4090 has like a power requirement somewhere in the ballpark like 450. Is it
Yep.
450 watts?
It's pretty much what the 3090 Ti, the previous top card, had as a
Four?
power requirement, and that's the base one. The overclocked models from the custom models are gonna have higher requirements.
450
Yep.
fucking watts.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus fucking Christ. That is.
Yep.
Okay. So, personally, I was more like confused why people I
Mm-hmm.
knew were like pitching shit about the 4090 cuz I'm like it's
Mm-hmm.
a 90 series. It doesn't apply
Mm.
to like look, are there people who are going to buy this for their gaming rigs? Abso-fucking-lutely, cuz
Yeah, there's gonna be a few,
there's always going to be the
a few,
handful of
not many, but a few.
there's always going to be
Yeah.
the handful of fucking psychopaths that
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that want that shit in their system. But
Yeah.
I'd be remiss to say that's a common occurrence amongst
I mean,
consumers to spend
were
60.
they
Hmm?
were they specifically complaining just about the 4090, or was it also in context with the 4080?
We'll get to the 4080. The
Mm-hmm.
4080
Okay.
was its own conversation, but
Okay.
the 4090
All right.
started this conversation. The 4080 just
Mm-hmm.
caused confusion.
Yeah.
So
I'll
since
preface it by saying the 4090, in terms of US price, not big a difference. Where there's the difference is outside of the US.
yeah, that's the problem.
European prices and everywhere outside the US, essentially, especially in Europe, the price is another 20% on top of that.
So the 4090 caused, at least in the
Mm-hmm.
circles I'm a part of, and a lot of these
Mm-hmm.
people they're
Yeah.
PC gamers, but they're not like enthusiasts. They're not watching
Mm-hmm.
tech reviews and
Yeah.
getting some of the deeper dive like I do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a big enough nerd to watch a 30-minute fucking breakdown of the card's performance. I'm sorry, I don't got anything better to do with my life. Judge me, motherfuckers. That's my hobby.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
then the 4080
Yep.
drops into this conversation.
Yeah, which was announced, and supposedly it comes out next month, but it was announced right at the same event with
Yeah.
the 4090.
The 4080 though, I mean, is a
Mm-hmm.
little odd because
Yeah.
so the 4080 has, all right, I'm going to try to explain this and you can help
Mm-hmm.
me, you can correct
Yeah.
me when I fuck up.
All right.
There are two 4080s, okay?
Mm-hmm.
One with 16 gigabytes, one with 12 gigabytes.
Yep.
They are both called 4080s, but one of them does not have the same chip architecture as the other one.
Yeah, it's not quite the same. But the architecture is the same because they're the 40s. But the problem is they don't have the same amount of shaders and all that. The chip from the 4080 12 gigabyte is significantly weaker.
And that has caused people to ask if this is just a slightly higher branded 4070 with a 4080 moniker attached to it.
Yeah, essentially a rebranded 4070 Ti, which they might have called it before, but chose to say, okay, yeah, I think we can get away with it. We're calling this one the 4080 12. Which, yeah, this is where NVIDIA fucked up.
Yeah, because why would you do this? Because, again, it's not like one was called the 4080 Ti and one was called the 4080. They were both announced as the 4080.
Yep. The only difference in the name was the 12G and 16G. So essentially, the memory, which, yeah, no, that's not how you do that.
Yeah, you don't do that. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Did they? I mean, now I have seen certain things. Did they double back and fix this naming convention problem?
Not yet.
Not yet.
What they did say was in their announcement on the 14th is that they're unlaunching the 4080 12 gigabyte. They're not bringing it on the market for now. What they'll do is unknown so far.
Well, we're gonna see the 4070, aren't we? We're gonna
or it's gonna be called 4080 Lite or something like that. Or what they have called some cards in the past, 4080 MX or whatever.
Some other.
It's gonna have some addition to the name, but I am relatively sure they're gonna keep it as a 4080. Yeah, just some change to the name.
Yeah, not the brightest idea, NVIDIA. Not the brightest. Not the brightest idea. You I get NVIDIA. NVIDIA is in a weird spot, right? Because NVIDIA has competition, but AMD hasn't done great, hasn't competed as strongly. They've competed.
They've been very, very much improving in that regard.
Yeah, they're getting better.
Their last generation, the RDNA 2, except for ray tracing, have been pretty much on par.
Yeah, so
they've come up to that level. They're by far not as bad as they've been in that regard. There's no canyon-wide difference there anymore.
Yeah,
mainly in the ray tracing department. So November is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be
because there we're gonna know what the RDNA 3 generation of AMD is gonna be like.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see. To see how that's gonna turn out, especially with AMD getting closer and closer to launching what's it called, direct storage or direct the.
That's Microsoft with the Xbox.
No, the AMD
direct.
Isn't PC going to eventually have something like that, where it's like the
Right? Yeah, I mean that's what Microsoft has with the Xbox currently, and they are bringing that over to PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're bringing that into regular Windows, that direct storage. We're gonna see how much that actually does, but I mean, progress is good.
Yeah, competition is great. Progress is even better. And if we can get a mixture of the two, we Gucci. We straight Gucci out here.
Yeah. I would say the 4090, in terms of power, it does deliver quite a bit of it.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing, right? Like I don't I I feel like people that don't know, that don't look that kind of stuff up, just see the increased price tag and are just like, nobody should, like, people shouldn't buy this is a rip. Like the actual like benchmarks and statistics that people have found with the 4090, it shows a market improvement.
Yep. The
Like,
problem isn't the 4090 so much. It really is the 4080. In addition to the naming thing, the price difference is too small, I believe.
oh, what's the price difference? I'm sorry, I didn't. What's
The 4080. Let me check.
the
The
1400? It's
pricing.
1400, isn't it? It's like $200, isn't it? They really are trying me right now, aren't they? They trying
It was
me.
pretty high because the regular 3080 back when it launched was for us around $800
Oh.
Yeah, and the 4080 16 gigabyte for us it's 1,500.
Oh, so you getting 100? What? Then why the fuck would you not just buy the 4090 at that point, nigga? Like, shit.
That's what I mean. The difference in the difference in performance, I don't think is gonna be quite that small.
No, the performance difference is going to be noticeable. It's going to be absolutely noticeable. And if you're going to have a noticeable performance difference with a minimal price point difference, then why bother?
It's
like
it's around, I think, $400 difference, and it's around double the price of the old generation. So yeah, that's
not a good look. Not a great look.
Nope.
Not a great look.
And the 4080 12 gigabyte was supposed to be around $1,000.
Oof. Shit.
Yeah.
So, everybody, do you guys remember what I said earlier in the episode? Do you guys remember what I said? Remember how I said I was going to loop back around and we was going to get a payoff for what I said? I wasn't kidding with y'all.
For what I said, right?
Yeah. We were going to get a payoff. There was going to be a payoff here, and you were all going to benefit from it. Well, you're about to benefit from it right now. I'd like to welcome you all to the first episode of Maybe You Should Keep Your Mouth Shut. But this statement only applies to one person, and I'll tell you who that one person is, but it will not apply to the first person we talk about. So during this weekend, during this weekend, out of nowhere, I would say, I wasn't expecting it. I noticed there was a lot of commotion going on about Bayonetta 3. Something I hadn't really seen a lot of. And there was some tweet videos from Miss Helena Taylor.
What who you'd know as the voice actor for Bayonetta for the first few games, for the first two.
What we come to find out is that she was no longer voicing Bayonetta. They had that's why she was not voicing her anymore. And this was part and parcel because they offered her $4,000 to voice the part for the game after the initial offer was even less than that.
Was there? Yeah, right.
They offered her less, according to the Nintendo Everything article. They had offered her less.
I think, yeah, she didn't say how much, but yeah, if I remember right, how she said it in the video, yeah, it was like she got an offer, then she wrote an email to Platinum Games to Kamiya himself, I think. And then she got the offer for the 4,000. Yeah. So I have no idea what the initial offer was, but that must have been bad.
Yeah. They offered her less. She shot back, and then they offered her $4,000. And she was like, no, absolutely not. So, obviously, yeah, this caused a little bit of commotion. There was some commotion on the internet about this. And it didn't take long before the subject of today's tagline, maybe you should keep your mouth shut, came into full focus. The head of Platinum Games, Hideki Kamiya. This man handled this with the grace and
with the silent grace of a sledgehammer.
I was going to say with the grace of a scared rhinoceros in a China factory, but
that works too. That works too.
His initial tweet, because he initially tweeted something, and he basically called it lies. His initial response.
Let's just quote the tweet.
Oh, is it there? Fantastic. Quote it.
I mean, the Nintendo Everything article still has it.
Oh, good. Thank goodness.
Sad and deplorable about the attitude of untruth. That's what all I can tell now. By the way, beware of my rules.
So,
and of course, you had to add that last bit.
So, in case you are new and don't know, Hideki Kamiya he has a reputation on Twitter. He of basically just blocking everyone. But
he has a rule that he blocks everyone that talks to him in English.
Yeah, talks to him in English, asks him questions about upcoming games, asks him stupid questions. Basically, he has a decent list of things. So,
although actually, I don't know if it's just English or if it's everything besides Japanese.
Yeah,
I've only heard it about it being English.
I know
because
English.
That's obviously what many people talk on Twitter, but I don't know other languages if he does it there as well. But it wouldn't surprise me, honestly.
So this happens, and Mr. Kamiya ends up getting fucking flooded. People are coming at him about this. And I mean,
actually,
yeah, rightfully so. I don't blame him. And this leads to a cascade effect where Mr. Kamiya proceeds to block so many people so fast and so often that his account was limited. This only happens when you do something that's so uncharacteristically out of the normal on Twitter. And I'd like to remind you, this is Hideki Kamiya. The guy blocks people basically over nothing half the time. So for it to be uncharacteristic for him is already saying something.
Yeah. So yeah, when you got to his account, you got the message, this account has been temporarily restricted. Caution. And then you had to confirm that, and then you could see the account. But yeah, that was before what happened next.
What happened next? Oh,
the account.
Oh yeah,
deleted.
I know. I thought you knew some other detail I missed. I was like, shit. Did I miss a detail here? Shit.
I mean, I don't know if something happened in between. Maybe it's the whole thing was happening quite quickly. So.
Oh yeah, no. This was going at like 472 miles an hour, and I was barely able to so much as hang on to something. He closed.
Yeah, I think people were probably archiving like motherfuckers.
His account was deleted. He deleted his account.
Yeah.
Which, again, I'd like to remind you all of what I told you. Sometimes it's best to say nothing. Just Just don't be on the internet, my dude. Just don't do it. Just don't. So I want to take it back a bit to that $4,000 number, right? Because that has been getting some traction. $4,000, to an average person, It
sounds like a decent amount.
Yeah, to an average person.
But what we don't know is for how much that would be.
Yeah. For instance, there was a Twitter user who pointed out, today I learned the average Raid Shadow Legend ad pays over 4.19K. Platinum/Nintendo couldn't even offer that to the star of their fucking video game. Holy shit.
Yep.
Holy shit. Where is it? There was one about wonderful. Oh, here's another one. I was paid from Scene Chiplock. I was paid approximately 2 to 3K overall because it was based on the total number of hours in the studio, which was higher because of voicing 3 characters in a single game. I made more money voicing Spade Dal in Freedom Planet 1 because that generously gave me sales royalties.
Yeah. And for those people who don't know, Freedom Planet essentially was at the start a Sonic fan game that got made into a complete indie game that stood on its own. And it wasn't exactly a big title. It got decent success, and it even got a sequel that just recently released. And while I do remember the voice acting quality, the recording and all, not being all up to snuff with the first title. So that's even, So the 2,000 to 3,000 for that puts this 4,000 number into an even worse light.
At far from subtle, I was looking for this one. This is one I really wanted to bring up because I saw this in another Discord.
Good Twitter tag.
Yeah, I saw this in another Discord. I've been searching for it since we started the fucking show because this is good. You're gonna love this. Fun fact: we got paid more for our hosting of the Wonderful 101 Kickstarter, 7,000, than she was offered to voice an entire fucking video game.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is, what at least seems interesting to me is the replacement voice actress is Jennifer Hale.
Yeah.
So for one, I think Jennifer Hale is also in a union for voice actors.
Right.
Probably SAG-AFTRA or whatever it's called. And she's been going around and promoting stuff like that, like treating voice actors better and giving them union jobs and all. And I'm pretty sure she cost them significantly more than those 4,000.
There's no way they're paying her 4,000. There is. I will.
She would laugh in their faces if they offered her that.
You know what? Someone brought up a really, really good point. Chris Pratt's limp dick fucking Mario impression he's doing for this Mario movie, that he's voicing for this Mario movie. He's probably making millions.
He's probably making a decent amount. Yeah.
More than,
I'm not sure about millions, but potentially.
More than $4,000. More than $4,000.
No, definitely significantly more. Significantly more. Yeah.
More than $4,000. More than $4,000.
I'm not gonna comment on how his performance is gonna be. We haven't really heard much of it.
Don't.
Obviously, it's not gonna. it doesn't sound as good as Bowser.
Yeah.
But then again, that's a really high bar to climb in this, because I mean, look at who's voicing Bowser.
Yeah, that's a bar you're gonna have to really climb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this story is
Mm-hmm.
it's something special, man. I don't get the opportunity to live through something this ridiculous.
Platinum Games is really not putting in good PR work these days.
Yeah, it's not just even like PR, right?
They're getting on the shit list of so many people,
Like
and deservedly so.
did they not think this
First, Babylon's Fall.
did they not think this was gonna come out? Is that what they thought? They thought she was just gonna keep her fucking mouth shut? Like
Probably because NDAs are a thing, and voice actors have a big enough, have a large enough issue with getting jobs and all, so that in their mind that probably was a decent enough detractor, or at least no, a decent enough hindrance to an obstacle for her to voice that. So they probably thought they were safe.
Yeah. And on top of that, people would have bought Bayonetta 3, heard the voice
Mm-hmm.
voicing Bayonetta, and been like, huh, that sounds different.
I think that was already known that Jennifer Hale is voicing
Oh,
her.
was it already known?
We've had the trailers. We've
Yeah.
had trailers already with her. So yeah,
Oh.
her voice was pretty close to what it was before, I think. But I think it was known that it was a different voice. I think.
They offered her less than that.
Yeah, less than 4,000. I don't even want to know how much.
Dude, bruh, listen.
That must have been a, okay, we don't want you as the voice, but we're gonna have to give you an offer that you're definitely not gonna take.
Yeah, we have
It
to.
must have been something like that. They must have already decided, yeah, no, we're not gonna take her. We want someone else.
We want somebody else. We're just gonna make you an offer that there's no fucking way
that you cannot not refuse.
Right, an offer so astoundingly insulting that you're just bound to turn it down. Yep. Which, honestly, they offered her less than the 4,000 for the first offer. I'm surprised she even wasted her fucking time emailing them back. I would have sent them a picture of me with my middle finger up and moved on. I wouldn't have even tried to negotiate at that point, because
potentially
the first no, because if you're gonna insult me that badly with your first offer, just dead ass.
I think it was just the passion behind the whole thing that caused her to try
to get him to.
Because I mean, she probably had been in contact with fans and being passionate about the role and all that. So that's obviously gonna. It was probably more a, this can't be right. This has to be a mistake.
Yeah, there's no
what?
There's no way they're offering me this little for this job. And then they offer her just a little bit more. She's like, "Oh, okay, I guess we are just."
So this wasn't a mistake. This is just an insult. Okay, thanks.
And I've also seen a decent amount of people conflate Nintendo with this. Is this was purely a platinum? This because a lot of people are like, well, Nintendo.
I mean, Nintendo are publishing it.
Yeah, Nintendo's funding it, right?
So yeah,
partly. So I mean,
yeah, Nintendo is the publisher. It's a Switch exclusive thing. Bayonetta wouldn't even be a thing anymore if not for Nintendo. So yeah, their involvement is probably quite decent. And I am not quite sure who was the one that originally made the offer. Maybe it might have been Nintendo if they did the whole localization part for Platinum.
Given how long this game has been in potentially development hell,
Mm-hmm.
Because I would.
I don't know if it was development hell, necessarily.
Development purgatory. How about that? I won't throw it. I won't throw
maybe
it.
We don't exactly know when they started developing it. Because Platinum did have some other things on their plate.
Yeah. See, I assumed
like
development was
Babylon's Fall.
I assumed it was in development when we saw that very first teaser all those years ago. Because I would assume if you're showing a teaser or a trailer or something all those years ago, I assume you're either starting development or you're in development. Because at that point, why are you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why talk about it then if you're not even developing it? Like,
yeah, that was 2017, so that wouldn't.
It's one thing. It's one thing if you're showing. It's one thing if it's not like a trailer and you just show some like concept art. Like, okay, fine, you're just showing concept art.
So at that time they only showed the logo essentially. They didn't show any gameplay at all.
Yeah,
we only saw gameplay in 2021, I think.
Jesus Christ. So yeah, that's this entire thing is ridiculous because because all this does now is all that they've managed to do is put voice actors in this weird spot where it's like they're just encouraging companies to only hire the big names, which doesn't even make sense because you could have paid her well and probably also undercut what you have to pay someone who works in a union. You could have still paid her well. You didn't have to fucking offer her fucking pennies. I don't understand what the benefit here is. Like, if you didn't want her back, fine, don't want her back. But like to insult somebody like that and give them a BS offer that's obviously you just taking the piss. Like, I don't see the point. And and then you hire someone who obviously is going to cost you way more. You're paying way more. Way more. So this was obviously not about the money. Yeah, this obviously was never about the money. This was because at that point it makes no sense. This entire thing actually looks like a fucking clown show. Like, I'll be honest.
Someone said, "Yeah, we want the name recognition of that other actor." So yeah.
But that does seem to be kind of a problem though, because we do see a lot in the gaming industry where like the same like 4, 5, 6 different voice actors keep ending up in roles. I mean, it keeps happening.
Troy Baker,
it's not really a new thing.
Who was it? Yuri Lowenthal.
Yeah, like
to name those, and
we keep seeing
Jennifer Hale has quite a few.
We keep seeing these same people end up on voice roles in like almost all the big name games, and they consistently keep getting these parts because people want the name recognition. But I don't get it. Like, you don't want to pay other voice actors well, but you're gonna pay these. You want the name recognition of these big dudes, so you're gonna pay them easily 4, 5, 6 times. Like, if they're in a union, you're paying them market. You're paying them market. You're paying them exactly. You're paying them what the union deems they're worth. And trust me, you're gonna pay out to have them. To have them, they're gonna have contracts. They got people on their side fighting for them. You're not getting these people on some BS fucking contract. These people are going to get what they are worth. They're going to get paid, and they're going to get what they've earned. But all this does is fuck up the industry now, because now it's like, you know, we don't want smaller name people. We want the people who are going to bring our game, you know, more sales, which is ridiculous to me, because I feel like Bayonetta would have done well without the bigger... I don't really feel like you needed it. I don't feel like that was necessary, but apparently it was. Apparently they needed to have it. But Mr. Kamiya, if I may speak to you directly, I don't speak Japanese, so you're just going to have to try to translate what the fuck I'm going to tell you. Next time when you have the urge to open your mouth on the internet, when you feel the desire to try to damage control, try to spin, don't. Fucking don't. Don't. Just keep your mouth shut. Like, don't say anything. Like, log off of Twitter, go work on whatever you need to be working on that day, and come back in a couple of weeks and hope that your media team can spin this shit out. Because you just made things way worse. You made yourself somehow look worse, which is surprising considering the fact that you've never really looked good to people. People have never really thought of you very, very well for how you act. So, congratulations, Mr. Kamiya. You've
done.
Learned. Yeah. You've learned, Mr. Kamiya, that the more you fuck around, the more you will find out.
The more you will indeed find out.
Yeah, it's proportional, sir. You fucked around at an interval of 10, and guess what, fucker? You found out at a proportional interval of 10. Was it worth it? I hope so.
Here and then there.
Yeah, it's very proportional. That has held true.
Direct line.
That has held very, very true. What time? Well, how much time do I got left? It's hour 5. Hour and 5. Was there anything that I want to mention before I end this show today, or do I want to just be a good showrunner and just call the show over? I might just call the show over because I'm kind of tired of talking about Activision Blizzard at this point. And
yeah, it's just a day ending in Y in that regard.
Yeah. I don't really. If you want to hear talk about Activision Blizzard, go on and check out our show we did with the Rapid Review team that we did with them last week. You'll learn all kinds of stuff about it. It's pretty interesting, by the way. But yeah, I think that's it. I don't got much else to say. I think I've covered all the things I find to be interesting. Unless you have something that has caught your eye, I think I can consider it a wrap.
Yeah, this week has been besides that, not that many trash fires. Besides the things we've talked about, so yeah, I think we can take a note from our own recommendation and just not say anything more.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah. Shut the fuck up. Yeah. Good job, Mr. Kamiya. You've really brought that to light now. Thank you. As always, everybody, you can find our lovely show on a variety of streaming platforms such as Google, Apple, and even Spotify every single Sunday on both those platforms and on YouTube at Turn-Based Cynics. And as always, you can also find us on social media at Cold Death and at Rezabasso every single week, where we take in the internet, and sometimes I go off on tangents that you have to read to believe. You have to read to believe, because if you read some of the tangents I go off on, if you think, oh man, what's wrong with him? How do you think people who know me feel? Oh dear. As always, everybody, the show is up every single Sunday, lest I have to consume a shoe, and I don't want to do that. Please don't make me do that. And as always, you can also find myself on YouTube at Rezabasso, where I dedicate my life to beating, completing, and sometimes low-key hating RPGs. It's what I do. I'm good at it. Sad to say. And I think I'm gonna take a note from the book this week. Everybody, have a fantastic week.
Yeah.
Goodness. It's been a week.